There are other teams like, let's see, there's some unknown teams that have been playing very well as well. Like, let's see, UHBF played very well against some pretty good teams like Stylecraft, almost beating them in week 1. So that was a 3-2 game. We've got also like XPN versus Keed. That was a very good match as well. You can check that out on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/AgeofStarcraft2. If you have some spare time. And we do have here NrG's Lucky Fool, of course, 4-team NrG spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, and in the top left-hand corner we have Forbes, the very strong player that you've been talking about from oGd.
You know, I don't want to give anything away, but I have seen Forbes do his own play off the 4-gate. I really shouldn't even call it a 4-gate, but he did it in a PvP. It was a 4-gate with a Warp Prism. And the timing was phenomenal. As soon as the Warp Prism arrived, he was able to warp in, you know, a full fluctuation of units, and it was just such a devastating attack, and his opponent never saw it coming.
That is very cool. It was probably a mostly Zealot attack, I take, because it does require 100 gas to get that extra War Prism tech. But that's a really cool play for Protoss right now. It's rarely seen. I love players who can innovate like that. We've got the gateway now coming up for Forbes. We'll see if he decides to go for a pretty fast expansion. NrG's Lucky Fool going for his barracks right now. We'll see if he decides to go for a pretty fast expansion as well, since this is Tal'Darim Altar, a very macro-oriented map.
Yeah, and you know, that's another thing. The fact that the building positioning here, it's interesting. You know, in some matches you'll see people wall off the chokes. Sometimes players won't choose to wall off at all. And I'm wondering, you know, if you're a Protoss player, it makes sense to put your building back, especially in case of an early Reaper.
Yeah.
But, I mean, either way, any divergence in the way they're building is always interesting.
Yeah, so NrG's Lucky Fool is sending an SCV out for the expansion right now. He has 400 minerals, and down it goes. That's a very fast expansion. It's off of that one rack.
Yes, it is. It's also, that's weird that, you know, normally players, especially Terran, will hide, well, actually only Terran, will hide that expansion, you know, in the main, and then just lift it up and move it out. But he's choosing to reveal it off the bat.
I'm actually baffled right now. He's got that ahead of his orbital command. So, usually Terran players go for that orbital command first, and then throw down his expansion. So this is an extra 150 minerals fast. And that's really fast. That's a really fast command center. We've got the Marine up front.
Yep, maybe he's confident, and like right now he's already 6 harvesters behind. But you know, he could be relying on that mule to get him back into it.
Yeah.
And it's going to be cool to see how he transitions, because right now he's already got, you know, 100 some gas, 150 gas basically stocked up. So you know, we'll see if he decides to reveal some kind of tech. Could be Blue Flame Hellion. Which is, you know, Blue Flame Hellion, you don't see it enough against Protoss, but it's excellent against Zealots, and once you can get into the main, especially on a map without a ramp, if you can get in there, you can do huge damage to the Harvesters.
Yeah, actually, I think you're looking at the wrong player. Forbes has 150 stocked up.
Oh my gosh, you're absolutely right. Sorry about that. That makes a lot more sense.
We've got here Lucky Fool throwing up the orbital command, so he's going to have such a huge economy in just a second. He's throwing up that bunker. The Marines are going to have their work cut out for them against the Stalker. That Stalker is going to have to be micro to be able to take out these Marines, but those Marines are actually in grave danger because of that one Stalker.
You're absolutely right. You know, the Stalker has greater range and greater speed, and I've seen players literally micro across the entire map and damage, I don't know, anything from 15 Marines just without stem.
I've seen Marines like just killed, outright killed, slaughtered because of a couple of Stalkers in the early game. So we'll see if that Stalker decides to come back for some poking. Of course, that bunker is up, which equalizes the range. And we've got our Terran player now researching +1 already. So, yeah, our Terran player is researching +1. That's really early. We've got a Twilight Council on the way for our Protoss player as well. So we'll see what kind of tech he's going, or see what kind of build he's going for real soon. Possibly, maybe Dark Templar. We'll see if he decides to go for a similar thing as NrG's Monk did earlier.
Yeah, you know, Lucky Fool's, or his expansion was much earlier than his opponent's, and but so far no real tech. But the fact that he's getting that +1 reveals that he's probably going to be relying on a heavy Bioforce.
Yeah.
And no sooner do I say that, does he throw up a factory. But he's also throwing down his second engineering base. So, I'm going to stick with the fact that I think he's going to go for a heavy bio.
It's going to be Medivacs in just a second. He's throwing up 2 add-ons right now. We've got the reactor as well as a tech lab. So we probably should be seeing that starport as soon as this factory finishes, so we can get out a bunch of Medivacs and push off of these 2 bases. So we're probably looking forward to that real soon.
We see that DTs are on the way, and look at this. If Forbes throws up his pylon in the vision of Lucky Fool, it's going to be so telling on what he wants to do. It'll probably give Lucky Fool an idea that he wants to harass with some DTs, and there goes the pylon.
And he sees it. This is going to be so bad for Forbes. I don't know how he's going to be able to deal with a failed DT attempt right now. So NrG's Lucky Fool, I don't know if those Marines can actually range the pylon over there, but maybe they can. A Marauder should be able to. So he's going to be moving at a Marauder over there, going to be able to clean up that. We've got a Warpin in the top, we've got a Dark Templar on the way, and that Dark Templar has arrived. He's got to throw down a scan before those Dark Templar get crazy in his base. We've got the Dark Templar now headed towards the main expansion. Going to be trying to pick off some of these add-ons. The Sim Research is actually trying to get research right now. A scan going down, going to be able to clean that up.
He still has enough energy for one more scan, but he's doing decent damage here. Already up to 4 or 5 kills. I'm going to say he ended on 5 there. I don't think he got that last slice off despite the sound. But, the pylon was still up. So there's always a possibility of future harassment. But, I mean, that was a decent attack. It should have been executed better, though. He needed to properly split those up.
He actually managed to kill 7 SCVs in that attack. We've got another Phoenix going to be scouting in here. Possibly looking to warp in some more. Probably, yeah, there it is. Another DT is being warped in. But it looks like that the missile turret's already. A scan going down. Going to make sure that he can clean that up very quickly. And it looks like Lucky Fool has actually been delayed a little bit in getting a starport down because of that harassment.
Any harassment is always good harassment. Obviously, it sucks if it's not as effective as it could be, but he could be throwing his opponent off guard, You don't like being caught off guard, especially with cloaked units.
Especially if we look here. We've got 1, 2, 3 missile turrets already up from Lucky Fool, so that's actually 300 times 75 worth of minerals, and not in this attack, which is moving forth right now. There's even a DT out on the middle of the field, so this is going to deny Lucky Fool from moving out too far, especially without any sort of mobile detection.
There's a much bigger gap in the army supply right now. Only 3 zealots, 1 DT. Well, no sooner do I say that. There's 7 zealots, 1 DT, and 5 sentries going against 18 Marines and 5 Marauders.
Yeah, and soon Medivacs will be out on the field as well. A Ghost Academy is on the way for the EMP. We've got the first Medivac popping out real soon. Another Dark Templar is moving across the map. Is going to force yet another scan. So Lucky Fool, he's going to have to deal with this. He's going to probably lose a couple of Marines. Oh, never mind. He manages to not lose 2 Marines. A scan going down, cleaning up that DT. And Forbes over here throwing up a pylon and a cannon in the back of his mineral line at the natural expansion. A gateway coming up in the back of his base. A Templar Archives on the way. Not actually headed for a 3rd base on either side at all.
Forbes has charge, and he's got a decent amount of sentries right now. But this is still a huge bioforce, and it's upgraded, and it's looking angry. It could do a huge amount of damage with the proper attack.
Yeah, Storm won't be ready for some time, so there are Archons on the way. A couple of Marauders
and I love that choice.
Making their way to the main.
Archons are super effective against bio, and like you said, if he can do the proper force fields, cut that army in half, having charge in Archons, he'll be able to handle this bioforce.
And here comes the push forward.
Moving in.
And one Marine is going to suicide himself to see that he can definitely not push in there, especially with the sentries and the charge lots all in position. A Medivac is also going to be backing up. One of those factories is going to be spotting here, and a DT is spotting for the 3rd expansion from Lucky Fool. And Lucky Fool is going to have to end up getting Ravens out in the field in the near future, or he's going to be pinned to these bases, especially with all of those DTs kind of running around the map, doing damage to his army everywhere he goes.
It looks like Lucky Fool wants to attack from the third, coming around the back. Pretty good choice. It's less likely that he gets cut off at the ramp, obviously. And a little bit of lag going on, so unfortunate. Oh, maybe we should pause. What do you think? Never mind. Don't pause. They're about to engage. But still, it's so important how he engages here. I'd like to see him get out another Archon.
He is going to be saving up some energy, so maybe when he gets that storm, if he decides to get that storm, which I hope he does get that storm, because Marines are really bad against storm, and a lot of this army is actually just Marines.
Yeah, you're right. There's actually a ton of Marines out, 33, and 17 Marauders out.
Yeah, those Marauders are actually pretty good against Protoss. But those Archons, especially because they're massive now, should be able to deal with those pretty easily. Lucky Fool should be aiming to get a third base so soon, because he's just drying up in his main. He's also running a little bit low at his natural, especially because he got that so early. So he's now picking off those rocks at the third expansion. We've got a DT hacking away here, a scan going down. See, he's spent a lot of scan now all over the place, and this is cutting down on the number of mules, thus cutting his economy.
You know, I saw in a recent Protoss game where in Control, he had a bunch of DTs just in his regular army composition. So when he engaged, you know, the player was kind of forced to scan or not to scan. And DTs can do so much damage, especially against these Marines and Marauders.
EMP down all of the Zealots. And the Zealots are actually charging from behind. Nice force fields here. Major engagement in the center. We've got the Archons advancing forward, but it looks like Forbes' force...
Oh no, he didn't storm.
Yeah, he doesn't have storm. His storm came out so late, he doesn't have it.
No, you're
now
right.
His army is being forced all the way back. Those Marines are going to be quite potent against this mix right now. Another scan going down. You're going to be checking for what's up there. The Marines and Marauders making their way in there, and a couple more Zealots being warped in, but Forbes in a very tight spot right now.
He's not forcing down the Archons, though. He's letting the Archons do so much damage to him right now.
EMP going off.
Oh, an EMP goes down. But that was such a huge mistake for Forbes to move out without his complete upgrades.
Yeah,
and that cost him huge.
Yeah, especially with that EMP going down on all of those Zealots, made that army so weak. And tons of Ghosts are out on the field right now, and additional assimilators are on the way at the third base, where Forbes now saturating that. He will be able to get that mining real soon. And he is facing against Lucky Fool, who does have his third base now, possibly looking to take a fourth. And he's just going to be milling around in the center, scanning yet again, possibly another DT. That's 300 minerals per scan. That's a lot of money there. I feel like he could have gotten a Raven.
Yeah, he's already scanned it like at least 8 times.
Another scan going down, and he even missed the DT up near Forbes' base.
And looks like he wants to attack from the back and do some damage to that third. If he could snipe that out, it would put Forbes in a horrible, horrible position. But you know, right now, it's so crucial that he gets decent storms
EMP's
off.
going off on all of the Zealots again. Nice storm going down, 2 storms, but they are hitting the Zealots quite a bit. And those Ghosts taking a lot of...
Another great storm going down. He has enough energy for one more awesome storm, doing huge damage to the Marauders. And I think he held off that attack.
That was a pretty good hold off. However, those EMPs are also pretty good. He almost lost a bunch of Ghosts over there, and Ghosts are pretty expensive. 2 medevacs are actually flying towards that expansion. He quickly notices and backs that up. A DT actually did deny Lucky Fool's 4th base. So those DTs continuously doing damage to Lucky Fool. Lucky Fool really needs that Raven. I feel like if he had gotten that Raven, this would have been so much less expensive than it is right now. He's got medevacs still coming out, and if he had that Raven, he wouldn't have to waste so many scans. A probe is headed out for Forbes, possibly looking to take a 4th base. A scan going down is going to be seeing what's up over here, and looks like Lucky Fool decides not to engage.
Yeah, some snipes going down there, and you know, Forbes, he's behind in upgrades. He's sitting at 2-1, and meanwhile, Lucky Fool is about to complete his 3-3.
Oh, wow. That is gonna be...
Yeah, you know, with a simple stim. unbelievable amounts of damage done with the bio.
And the ghosts over there will be able to throw down the EMPs here. And here we go. EMPs off on the Stalkers. Didn't actually get all the Zealots. The Zealots are melting against this force, though. We've got nice storms going down right now. And it looks like Forbes' army is just not large enough.
So many Marauders, and they're so powerful.
Even against Storm, you know, Storm does 75 damage, but Marauders have 125 HP. So it's just going to be really hard to take this army down. Additional Zealots trying to get warped in here, but they are just being sent straight to their deaths. Even all the probes getting pulled off the line. However, Lucky Fool stimmed and restimmed this army so many times. A couple of more storms would be able to clean this up very easily. A couple of Templar are available at the natural expansion, but losing this third base is going to be a huge hit to Forbes' economy.
Wow, those Marauders, I mean, even with low health, they're still just huge tanks, you know, with +3 armor, soon to be +4. It's very difficult to deal with. And now we're seeing more Archons being morphed in, but we already mentioned if Forbes loses that third, he's just in a terrible position.
And here we go.
And
looks like Forbes...
Wow, this Bioforce, look at the supply difference. They're just getting ready to move in. There's a stim.
EMP is going down on the entire army there. A couple of nice storms there, but it's just too little too late. The Archons running to their deaths. GG out of Forbes. And this...
Wow, crazy to see how powerful that bio is when it's fully upgraded.
Yeah, and this was Game 3, I guess. Game 3 went to NrG as well. So NrG takes it 3-0 to the semi-final. Wow. They're going to be advancing to the semi-final, which is going to be a best of 7. They will be playing against the winner of Chaos Theory versus Relentless Heroes, which we will be seeing tomorrow. Not sure when the match is, so I can't tell you when the stream is going to be, but hopefully we will have a stream for that one as well. So good games here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, tough matches all around, like we said before, just simple errors and choices. The fact that he wants to engage with the feedback, storms, everything we saw, lack of neural parasite, baneling drops, just incredible games, but definitely going in NrG's favor. So congratulations to them for moving on.
And, also for my YouTube viewers, do you want to tell them a little bit about where they can check out more of your stuff?
Sure, I'll be uploading these videos from the APL Star League to my YouTube channel. It's TRG Reptile at YouTube, or you know what I mean. Here, I'm going to show you guys a screen actually, so I have it all nice and pretty for you. You can see the 2 channels I cast with, and the YouTube channel. And Aegis, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you, because you're definitely the more important one here.
Oh, not that important, but I've got the YouTube channel, youtube.com/AegisStarcraft2. And we've also have a Twitter account, twitter.com/AegisStarcraft. Check me out there. I do post up my videos onto Twitter and I post up the links to my videos to Twitter when I do get them up, and I also have more information about future stuff for the American Pro League there as well. So please check those 2 places out. I also stream sometimes justin.tv/AegisStarcraft. Note the only one that has a 2 is YouTube, because somebody took Aegis StarCraft already. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, it was great casting with you. I look forward to doing more matches, maybe next season. Yeah, awesome. All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Any final words, Aegis?
This is Aegis, and we'll be signing out here. Bye.
All right. Bye, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.